Hello everybody, thanks for tuning in today. Dave from Calmwood Creations sent us a piece of Siberian Elm to turn. So we're going to be turning this today. See what we can make out of it. It's got some pretty cool moss and bark and all kind of holes in the bark. I guess a woodpecker got a hold of it. But I don't reckon I ever turned any of this stuff before, as far as I know. And it's about 7.5 diameter this way, 10 this way, and 10 inches this way. And the moisture register is about 45% in it, so it's pretty wet. We're going to turn it anyway. Let's get on here and see what we can do with it. I got a woodworm hole screw already drilled in it. And let's get going on it. I don't think the hole's gonna hold. I've not got it. Nope, it ain't gonna work. I guess I didn't get enough bark off of it. Alright, that ain't really what I was planning on doing. I was planning on making this the top and having the bark rim on it, but then I got to thinking too fast and then went over and cut all that off. So I reckon I'm going to make this the bottom. I'm going to turn it a little bit backwards and I'm going to turn the bottom, just leave it this way. Making this the top, but anyway, I guess that's what you get when you don't think about what you're thinking about and then go do something. Anyway, we'll try to get to work out anyway. What I should have did is drilled it with the Forstner bit, so that way it would just had the diameter of the chuck in it, but I reckon we'll just have to see what we can do. I've got this turning real slow and it literally about stopped the motor so it don't take off on me. The belts are on real high speed, so it's like bogged down real easy. The other legs on low speed torque, and them belts are loose. You can't tighten them, but these belts I can tighten. This is just high speed setting on this thing. Alright, what I decided to do is give it a little foot. And this looks like it's got a little platform it's sitting on. So do something with that wormhole screw. Also, when I was coming up through this way cutting, it's nearly ripped the bark off. It was pretty rough on it, so I started cutting in, working my way that way, coming down. So maybe we didn't make too big of a mess with the bark. I believe it'll be fine. These places here, when it's dry enough, I'll put some glue in there. It's just sopping wet in there, about like a sponge. It's so wet. It's sticky. That must have some sap in it or something. I reckon we ain't gonna have to flip it over. It's already worked. Needs a base, so let's get working on the inside and see how that goes. And I hope it don't go too far and hit my woodworm screw. I'll try to stop somewhere in there. It's gotta be somewhere there. Alright, it's going pretty good. Lost a piece of bark. It flung off. I don't know where the heck it went, but we'll see if we can't find it. It's really, it's pretty mushy. I don't know why it's so mushy. I guess it's because it's so wet. It's real wet. Anyway, we'll keep on going on it and got just a little bit more to go, maybe an inch and a quarter or something. But we'll see if we can find that piece of bark, and hope we don't go through the bottom, hit that hole in it. gonna be able to save the bark or not, because it's flopping off all over the place. And I don't know that I'll be able to find all them pieces, and it's just a messy. I sure would like to try to keep it on there, but it's just, I wanted to get the walls a little more thinner, and it just knocked it off. But we'll see what we can do. I'm gonna try to do a little bit of sanding on it. It's so wet, but I'm gonna try to sand it a little bit anyway. Usually gums the paper up when it's wet. It's caking it up a little bit. Not too bad, but these pieces of bark are just, I just don't think they're going to make it. It's sticky. Sticky. I don't know what we'll do. Most of it flied off, and we just will pull that off too, I reckon. I don't know. I really want to save it, but it ain't happening. All right, I got it sanded halfway decent. We'll let it dry a little bit, and then we'll sand it some more before we put a finish on it. But I think it turned out pretty good, even though I messed up. But it finished out at 5 1/4 tall at the tallest point, about 8 5/16 diameter. But I think it turned out pretty neat. Now, I wish the bark would have stayed on, but it's just turning loose left and right, and it's just real wet. And I sanded it best I could, and it's still a little bit wet, mushy in spots. But you can see how wet it is. It's showing up in the grain right there. It's pretty dang wet. All right, I squirted a little bit of water on it. Let you can see it a little bit in case it busts. It might bust, but we'll hope it don't. This water's got a little soap in it. Ain't got as much as I'd like in it, but I'd run out of soap. I'll have to get some more. But it's got some pretty cool colors in it. I like that gray stuff in it. So just keep your fingers crossed that it don't crack. Yeah, that's pretty cool, that gray stuff. I went ahead and pulled that out. That was where some kind of old bark mush was in there. Anyway, we'll be back just as soon as this thing's dry. All right, this is about a few weeks later. It finally got dried out, and I re-sanded it, and I put some shellac on it. Put it back on the lathe, and I burnt a line around it. I thought it needed some more character. Got some pretty cool gray in there. I don't know what caused that gray. I know it did have mold in it. I put this piece of wood in the corner and forgot about it, and it didn't have no airflow, and it was probably about 45% moisture content. And when I was knocking the bark off with a machete, I smelled mold, and it flared my sinuses up. So it definitely was molding. I don't know if that caused that color, but it could have. Well, I guess that's about it for today. If you stay tuned here in just a little bit, I'll put another few pictures out on this thing, and hope you tune in for the next one, and I'll see y'all later. Y'all have a good one.